Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and as we said earlier that we're going to talk about the Lebanese-Israel talks which are set to begin on Tuesday. We are most delighted to be joined by Dr. Ayman Salah Mourad, the professor of the international law and a member of the Egyptian Council for Foreign Affairs. A very good morning to you, Dr. Ayman, and it's always a pleasure having you.
It's my pleasure.
Dr. Ayman, first, shortly after announcing the temporary ceasefire between US and Iran, Israel started shelling Lebanon in an intensive way. Why is that escalation in your point of view?
Actually, after the announcement of a ceasefire between United States and Iran, we found heavy shelling from Israel to Lebanon and the depth of Lebanon and Beirut. It was before shelling South of Lebanon in kind of skirmishes with Hezbollah. And this started on March 2nd after the war escalated between the US and Iran. And then after the announcement, we found that more bombardment and heavy bombardment which extended to real Beirut itself, not only the suburbs of Beirut. And there are many analyses for this. One of the analyses that Israel is trying to fail down the talks and the peace talks between US and Iran. Another analysis is that Israel is trying to escalate the ceiling of negotiations between US and Iran. And also Netanyahu is trying to send a message to the Israeli people that war is still going on, and that war is not over yet, because he has his political agenda and he has his election, so he can't get out of war without achieving something to present to the Israeli electors. So there are many reasons actually why Israel attacked Lebanon heavily after the announcement of ceasefire.
Yes. Well, Doctor, also how did the Israel intensive aggression affect the economic situation in Lebanon, notably in the recent aggression?
Actually, the bombardment for this heavy bombardment for Lebanon affects everything in Lebanon. It affects the social life, it affects security, it affects the economic situation, which is already complicated. We know that Lebanon has used to have its economic problems, so it actually affects heavily the economy and the social life. We saw a lot of Lebanese are displaced towards out of their homes. We see a lot of injuries. The death toll is rising. So the situation in Lebanon actually is very messy right now, and hopefully this ends soon.
Yes, for sure. And as we know all that Egypt intensive efforts with the regional partners to support the ceasefire and boost the diplomatic efforts. What do you see in these efforts that Egypt is playing?
Actually, Egypt has always been keen for peaceful settlements in the region, decades ago and centuries ago, and we have seen a lot of talks and a lot of visits between Egypt, President Sisi and Minister Badr Abdelati with his counterparts all over the region and in Europe and the United States, and even we have seen the quadrant of Pakistan and Saudi Arabia and Turkey and Egypt for settling peace in the region, because wars are connected and conflicts are connected. So the Israeli aggression on Lebanon is connected to the war in Iran. So actually we have always said that peaceful settlements is the best way to settle differences between nations and countries, and we have seen what happened for the world economy now with the closure of Strait of Hormuz and the rise of oil prices and the rise of all products prices, which affected the whole world. So Egypt has always been keen through talks, through negotiation, through visits to stress the importance of peace throughout the region.
Yes, well, Dr. Ayman, also, how does Egypt balance between supporting the region's stability and preserving the strategic interest of the Arab countries in the same way?
Actually, Egypt, from the very first day of the war, has asserted its position that it refuses and condemns any attacks on Arab countries, and this is not understood to attack countries that are not in direct conflict with Iran or with Israel, because even Lebanon, maybe southern Lebanon, there has been some skirmishes between Hezbollah and Israel, but Lebanon itself as a country was keen to follow and commit to the agreement which has been signed in November 2024 and to the resolution 1701 of the Security Council resolution for putting all arms under the control of the army with the support and help of the UNIFIL. So we see that the Arab countries' security is part of the Egyptian security and extension for the Egyptian security, and condemns any attacks on Arab countries and on Arab Gulf brotherly countries. And of course Lebanon is an Arab country, and Egypt is very concerned about what's going on now in Lebanon.
Yes, and as you said, Dr. Ayman, in your point of view, can you see that the efforts succeed so far for bridging the gaps between the warring parties, the efforts that have been by Egypt?
Wars are very complicated, and the conflict is very complicated, and Egyptian efforts to bridge the gaps is a part of international efforts to bridge these gaps, but the conflict is very, let's say, complicated. And as you see, the conflict between US, Israel and Iran is around very, say, complicated points, which is the Iran nuclear program, the missile program, Strait of Hormuz. Even the United States wanted to make a regime change. These conflicts or these points are very complicated, and it is very core in the problem. I mean, we have seen before the agreement to the comprehensive plan of 2015 that was drawn by US or drafted by the US and the European Union and China and Russia and the United States. And this took years to reach this agreement in 2015. Even the last summit took months in the end, but it took years to reach. So negotiations and settlements always take time, and bridging the gaps needs the support and the help of all parties, even the conflict parties or the fighting parties, to get out of this dilemma. And as we see now, it is a real dilemma. The world now is real. The region is in real dilemma. Even the parties to the war, they feel that they are in real dilemma. That's why we saw that they announced a ceasefire for 2 weeks, and now after 2 days or 21 hours of negotiation, things are going in another path. So things are really complicated.
Well, Dr. Ayman, also, can the conflict in Lebanon can be escalated into a wider range in your point of view?
Yes, it might escalate. It depends on the, let's say, the discipline of the parties. Now, Lebanon, the government of Lebanon and the Lebanese president talked with the Israeli Prime Minister, and there are talks to be held in the United States this Tuesday. And this is direct talks between the two countries. They will discuss the differences between the two countries. They will discuss, and I think they will not go far away from resolution 1701. And we hope that they can reach an agreement and a settlement to settle things down. And even we have heard that President Trump have talked to Prime Minister Netanyahu, and he told him to low-key things down and to calm things a little bit down while the negotiations is going on. So we hope that they can reach a peaceful settlement for this conflict.
Yes, we hope all too. And as we said earlier, that the talks were gonna take place on Tuesday in Washington. What if these talks, the scenarios in case if the talks has failed?
Actually, there are many scenarios if this talks has failed. The first scenario that Israel may continue its aggression in Lebanon. The second scenario, Hezbollah may escalate its attacks and offense against Israel. The third scenario we can see reflections on the U.S.-Iranian conflict, and hopefully things do not escalate more than that. We have seen that death roll is rising, the economy is in a bad situation, and the situation is complicated actually. So hopefully we see a peaceful settlement for this conflict, so as to get into a peaceful region.
Yes, also what about the role of the international community in supporting the talks?
The international community, Europe, the European Union, has asserted through its European leaders, that Lebanon is the ceasefire in Lebanon is part of the U.S.-Iran talks, and they asserted this. Even Pakistan, before beginning the talks, said that Lebanon is part of the peace talks between United States and Iran, and even Iran asserted that Lebanon is part of its talks. But we have seen later that President Trump and even the Vice President J.D. Vance said that no, Iran is Lebanon and Israel is a different skirmish.
Yes.
So this raised a question, because all the European leaders, more than 20 European leaders, talked about and asserted that Lebanon must be a part of the U.S.-Iran talks, because this war started a day after the war between U.S. and Iran. So it is very linked. So now when we have talks, we have to have comprehensive talks. And when we have one side or one part of conflict that goes down and goes to peace, this helps the other sides to settle down things among them.
Yes, for sure. Dr. Ayman, also we need to return back to the infrastructure in the country. How has it been affected by the Israeli aggression?
Actually, it has
due to the intensive...
actually, it hasn't been affected badly. We have heard a lot of buildings have been blown up, a lot of infrastructure, a lot of bridges, even earlier when Israel tried to separate between southern Lebanon and Lebanon after the Litani River, because Israel might have its ambitions for separating the south from the rest of Lebanon. And we have seen that the infrastructure is severely damaged and severely destroyed, and this is against international law and against all customs. You don't have to attack or target the civilian infrastructure, because this will lead to chaos in the region. So hopefully things get better than the situation now.
Yes, for sure. And in your point of view also, were the disagreement over the Strait of Hormuz a major obstacle to reach an agreement in the talks that were going to be held on Tuesday?
Hormuz, you're talking about Strait of Hormuz? Strait of Hormuz actually is a very vital point for the whole world. And surprisingly, the Strait of Hormuz wasn't, opening the Strait of Hormuz wasn't one of the objectives of the war that the U.S. wanted when it launched its war against Iran. They talked about regime change, nuclear program, ballistic program, but they didn't talk about Hormuz. And when the war launched, now we have another problem or another square, which is Strait of Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz in international passage. The legal regime for Strait of Hormuz is transit passage. Transit passage means kind of free passage to pass from one point to another point directly, and it also allows the passage of airplanes. Some viewers might not know this. It allows the passage of airplanes and ships directly from one point to another point. So this is an international strait that has been regulated by the 1982 United Nations Convention for the Law of the Sea, and this is international strait, and we have hundreds of straits all over the world. Maybe we have 30 major straits. So if you change the regime of the Strait of Hormuz, so this will affect the regime of the other straits, because other countries might ask, why don't we do the same? So it's very important to keep it as it is and to go with the international law.
Yes, well, Dr. Ayman, Salah, Mourad, the professor of the international law. Thank you so much for being with us and commenting on this important topic that the Lebanon Israel talks, which will take place or set to take place on Tuesday in Washington. Thank you so much for being with us on the breakfast show. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break and we'll be right back to move to our second topic.